Over at DC Comics, the publisher just released their solicitations covering the vast majority of their comics for the month of August. The DC Universe is currently ensnared into a 2-month event called Night Terrors during July and August, where a villain called Insomnia is ensnaring several members of the DC Universe into their nightmares. We'll be covering several of those titles and taking a look over at the Superman line, where there's fascinating new developments integral to Dawn of DC and a kind of alternate version of DC that is also going to be really fascinating to go ahead and jump into. My name is Ariko Braddock, and today let's go ahead and jump into my 5 most anticipated comics over for the month of August coming from DC Comics. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. And I want to go ahead and kick off our list with our very first issue. And this is actually the end of DC Comics' upcoming Night Terrors event with Night Terrors issue number 4. This one is written by Joshua Williamson, featuring art from Giuseppe Camuncoli, Stefano, Nesi, and Caspar, Wijngaard. We have a cover here coming in over from Ivan Heiss and Miki. Insomnia searches the nightmares of all the heroes for his previous nightmare stone and keeps on coming up empty-clawed. Wesley Dodds, Batman, and I must return to the haunted Arkham Tower to confront Insomnia, but now I know why Insomnia hates the heroes, and I gotta be honest, I'm having a hard time not relating. Maybe Insomnia is owed his revenge. So there's several reasons why I'm really excited for the kind of conclusion of Night Terrors. I think Joshua Williamson has a really strong grasp on so many aspects of the DC Universe, between having his own run on Batman kind of wrapped up, a run over on Robin and Superman, plus he was kind of spearheading the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths event over at DC Comics. So really excited to go ahead and see this one wind down here. Really like the collection of artists. I think that Giuseppe Camuncoli's line is just so fascinating, curvy, and interesting to look at. And very interested to see some additional art over from Stefano, Nesi, and Caspar, Wijngaard as well. Really like this cover from Ivan Heiss and Miki as well over from DC. I think it's kind of fascinating to compare this over with some of the work from Blackest Night to see how, even despite the fact that we're at the same publisher in the same genre, the artwork can look a lot different depending on the context. Let's go ahead and take a look at our second book. This is the one-shot conclusion for Night Terrors, called Night Terrors Night's End #1. This one, of course, is still written by Joshua Williamson, but this time we have art and cover over from another really pivotal DC artist, Howard Porter. Night Terrors finale special oversized issue. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, along with DCU's other heroes, have escaped the Nightmare Realm, only to find the Nightmare League has followed them home. The entire world has become engulfed in horror, and the last person standing to take down Insomnia is Deadman. But does he want to? And don't miss the exciting ending that continues Dawn of DC and introduces Dr. Hate? Wait, who is Dr. Hate? Night Terrors thrills and chills are brought to the DC Universe by DC architect and superstar writer Joshua Williamson, with horrific art by comics legend Howard Porter. So we've already showered enough praise over on Joshua Williamson, but really excited to go ahead and check out the end of Night Terrors here. I don't remember taking a look at Howard Porter's art in this sort of horror-esque context. So it's very interesting to see an artist from somebody who I'm really familiar with over at DC kind of utilized in a different concept. But let's go a little bit further away from Night Terrors to explore the Superman line over at DC Comics with the Superman 2023 Annual. This one is written by Joshua Williamson, featuring art from Mahmud, Asrar, Max Raynor, Jack Herbert, and Caitlin Yarsky, featuring a cover by Mahmud Asrar. Lois Lane is now editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet, but at heart she'll always be an investigative reporter. And lately, Metropolis has had a whole new set of secrets she must uncover, even if it means investigating her own husband, Superman. Featuring Livewire, Parasite, and Mercy, this special issue is your next big puzzle piece, leading to a massive Superman crossover in 2024. Don't miss out. Really been enjoying Joshua Williamson's work in the context of the Superman property. And I think we've had a very interesting first couple of issues that have relied so heavily on the villains of the DC universe. Really excited to kind of see the villains all together over on this cover of the Superman annual coming in over from Mahmud Asrar. Really like Mahmud Asrar as an artist and think he's able to capture just really excellent expressions for the characters as well. And I really like some of the other artists they've assembled on this annual, like Jack Herbert and Caitlin Yarsky. Not familiar with Max Raynor, but excited to see what his contributions are for the Superman annual and to see what some of these clues are that are leading to this upcoming Superman crossover in 2024. Let's go ahead and take another look at an essential Superman piece over to the Dawn of DC initiative. This one is Action Comics Presents Doomsday Special #1, written by Dan Waters, featuring art from Eddie Barrows and a cover from Jorn Behrens. Hopefully I got that name right. It's a creature beyond reason, and the only force in the universe strong enough to kill Superman. It's Doomsday, the living embodiment of death, destruction, and evolution. In the wake of Dark Crisis and Lazarus Planet, King Doomsday now sits on a throne of skulls across a river of blood, holding court over the demons that swarm in the depths of hell. And he may have just found a way back to the land of the living. It's now up to Supergirl and Martian Manhunter to drive the beast back and see that he never again returns to our earthly plane, even if they must die to do it. Plus, the return of Bloodwind, the debut of the Doomhounds, and a clue to the next big Superman event. So, looks like over in this Action Comics Presents Doomsday special, there's so many things to be excited for. If it's not that kind of, Superman crossover event that it looks like we're also going to get some more clues to, it's the sort of kind of introduction on some plot threads following up from Lazarus Planet and Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths here. Also, I'm a big fan of the creative team over on the issue. Dan Waters really enjoyed his work with Azrael over at DC. Really excited to go ahead and see him board a Loki title over at Marvel. Eddie Barrows, really wonderful artist who's contributed some excellent work over to the Batman property, and really interested to kind of see what sort of contributions he lends over to this Doomsday Action Comics special. And let's go ahead and kind of close out our focus over on the Superman universe with a look at one of my kind of personal, most anticipated comics over for the month of August. This is Adventures of Superman John Kent #6. The final issue in this miniseries. Of course, it's written by Tom Taylor, featuring artwork from Clayton Henry. It's Batman versus Superman, Super Son versus Super Son. Injustice Superman is ruling with a fist of steel. Can John Kent free an entire world? And what could he lose if he tries? So in terms of Adventures of Superman John Kent 6, the reason why this one is on my list is actually because of some of the kind of the subject matter and the ideas that the book is tackling. Frankly, in terms of DC's Injustice property, I don't think that kind of comic book or video game or however it's sort of manifested itself has ever sat right with me. And I think this sort of extremely violent depiction of Superman goes against the kind of characterization that I really like to see across these titles. And in the kind of most recent issues of Adventures of Superman John Kent, Tom Taylor and Clayton Henry have both kind of, drove in directly into the kind of moral implications of the Injustice Superman to try and sort of kind of unfold his morality and explain why the kind of Superman property has veered so far away off of the path of sort of violence. And really interested to see kind of this ideological conflict manifest itself over in this issue. Very fascinated to go ahead and see how this winds down. I love the kind of meta commentary that Tom Taylor is weaving over with the Injustice property in this tale. And I think the precision that Clayton Henry lends to the art is just absolutely wonderful. Really excited to go ahead and check this one out and to see what sort of implications it has for the rest of the Injustice property. I always like to go ahead and cheat in these videos and add one additional comic book. There were so many Night Terrors books to choose from, but I found one that kind of celebrated a little bit of a nostalgic itch for me that I wanted to go ahead and talk about with you today, and that is Tales of the Titans #2, written by Tini Howard, featuring art from Eleonora Carlini and a cover from Nicholas Scott. She's been called the daughter of Trigon and the herald of the apocalypse, but Raven has never let those things define who she is. Ready to step into this new era of the Titans, she plans to leave her past behind, but history has a habit of repeating itself. And when Raven comes to the aid of a woman in over her head with the Church of Blood, she'll have to face a terrible reminder of her mother's tragic past and an even closer to her than you may think. I always like how in the sort of original New Teen Titans from Marv Wolfman and George Perez, how there was kind of a secondary comic book in addition to the main one. And I thought it's kind of super cool that DC Comics is sort of following up on this tradition with one kind of centered around the Raven property. So really hoping that the level of kind of new things in this issue versus like nostalgia that's going to really scratch the itch of longtime DC readers is really kind of carved out here with a very particular niche. I've really liked Tini Howard's writing over at Marvel in the X-Men property with the Betsy Braddock character, and I'm hoping that some of that really kind of nuanced characterization will be implemented into the Teen Titans property for Tales of Teen Titans. Well, those are some of my thoughts over on DC solicits for the month of August. I think we have so many great titles, from everything with the Teen Titans to the Superman universe, and so many Night Terrors books to kind of ensnare the DC universe into their own nightmares. I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts on these comics? Did I leave any of your most anticipated titles behind? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming to check out our video, and we'll be back really soon with more excellent comic book content. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.